Last orders at the bar!
A night in with Mauler and the drinker, getting trashed with the web stream thinkers. A cheap night cause I'm feeling kinda thrifty, got a 10-pack of beers and a bottle of whiskey. Hop off the cork, have a glass of wine. I'll sail safe, I'll be fine. Trouble walking in a straight line before the Pinot Noir. It's open bar with our hosts, Mauler and the critical drinker.
Well, welcome back.
Hello.
Welcome back, everyone, for Open Bar 146 Last Orders. It's time to get those last orders in at the bar, Mauler. Are you ready?
Yeah, gotta do it. Gotta have them drinks. They're still left.
All right, hoover up all the half-drunk pints and stuff. Just, you know, it's all going to the same place ultimately, so it's fine. But anyway, we've got some super chats left over from Thursday night stream. So let's see if we can get right into them here. The first one is from Ronan Archer, who says, Razor and Disparu on the same stream? Take my money. Exactly. We will take your money. Thank you.
All right, then. Yeah.
White Knight Leo says, strong female characters in Crouching Tiger. Ironically, the stunt doubles for the fights were men. Go watch Red Cliff. Excellent adaptation of Romance of Three Kingdoms. Excellent rant, Razor. Well, thank you very much. And yes, there were excellent, strong female characters in Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. So good to see. Old Cranky Gamer says, one of the best female strong fighters was the animated Mulan. She went into war with great intent, knowing she was weak, and took advice from men to eventually prevail and get some Wu-Tang loving. She did indeed. And I cited that once, actually, as just a great example of the difference between, you know, the original animated movie and the remake for modern audiences. You know, the original Mulan acknowledged the fact that, gosh darn it, girls are a bit smaller and weaker than men, and so they have to work a bit harder to try and, you know, reach the same physical level or be a little bit smarter about it.
Dude, the original's fucking excellent. I'm so glad the live action one got forgotten by time.
Sure.
They'll probably do it again someday, though.
I just love the shitty excuse they gave with the live action one, where it's like, she's got strong levels of chi. Apparently her chi is like over 9,000. That's what they've said. Awful. And that just makes her super strong because reasons. Don't question it. Sure. Okay, fine. It's just what a way to undermine a great message in the original movie.
Yeah.
D-Day Cobra's Busted Balloon says, what a murder's row of crushers at the bar tonight. Hail to all. I'm loving this more than Jeremy Griggs. A homosexual man loves men. Sure, okay. DS Volt says, thoughts on Robert Eggers' Christmas Carol film? I haven't seen that one.
Well, it's been announced that it's a thing. I thought it was a joke. I didn't realize it was actually going to be happening. But like, because it's already the notion of Willem Dafoe played Scrooge, and it's like, well,
it's perfect casting, really.
Yeah, I mean, I'm on board. I'll give it a shot for sure.
He'll never top Michael Caine, but he can give it a shot.
I could have sworn Eggers was doing a werewolf movie as well, but hey, if he's doing both, I'll watch them both.
Yeah, no, he's a damn entertaining director. TJ Jordan says, Hollywood, we don't need men. Pedro Pascal, I am no man, but I am gay and proud. Hollywood, hired.
Not bad.
People are starting to refer to him as Pedro Ziegler, and I wonder if he's heading towards a similar fall. It just feels like it's that antipathy towards him is building to some kind of critical mass, and I feel like he's gonna do something wrong, or he's gonna have a project that's gonna flop big time, and it's gonna hurt him pretty bad.
Like I said, it's truly, I'd say, gotten out of our circles now of just noticing that he's cast in everything, which was inevitable if he kept being turned up in everything.
Yeah,
I think he's gone away with it for a little longer because, like I said, I do think he pulls in a better performance than a lot of the actors that are sort of known for being social pariahs, or at least frustrating people. Like Rachel Zegler is not impressing anybody, I don't think. To be fair, I haven't watched what is she even in? The Hunger Games?
Oh, the West Side Story.
Oh, yeah, that too. I haven't seen either of them, but Snow White?
Yeah. Halcyon says, you guys need to check out the official Spaceballs 2 announcement trailer. It gives me a very, and I do mean very, small hope that it may be solid.
No, stop. No hope. The problem is as much as it's very self-aware in its opening, do you think Mel Brooks wrote any of that?
Yeah.
No, he's there probably because they begged him just to say what he says, and that's that. I doubt he's involved that much at all in making this thing. It's cynical, and remember, don't get drawn in by the even vaguely surface level self-aware shit. When it's like, yeah, we know all this is crap. Anyway, here's our crap. It's like, no. But
well, morale -1 there. Thank you, Mahler.
look, we'll see. I'm not saying it's impossible, but like, please don't take that trailer as like evidence that it'll be a great film. It's like, no.
You wonder as well, like
Like,
how politically acceptable is it at this point to criticize Disney Star Wars and all of the, politics that it tries to push? I don't know, man. I don't know if Hollywood will allow itself to be that self-aware or to mock itself that badly.
we'll see. But I'm like I said, no hope.
Yeah. White Knight Leo says the women getting injured realistically came up in video games. There was a small freak out with the Tomb Raider reboot because of all the harrowing death scenes, and they had weird marketing about Mortal Kombat 11. Yeah, I think I remember that. Yeah, I think in Tomb Raider as well, there's like a scene where a guy kind of grabs Lara almost like a little bit suggestively, although he doesn't seem to know what to do with her once he has her, and then she has to break free and kill him. But the implication was, oh my God, she's in sexual peril here. We can't ever show this. It's like, well, you wanted a game that was like gritty and like violent and realistic, and you got it, and now you're complaining about it. You can't have it both ways.
Did I mishear? I thought you just said Terminator and then Lara.
Tomb Raider.
Tomb Raider, gotcha.
Yeah. Probably I slurred my words. It's the alcohol-induced brain damage.
I was just like, what are we talking about? Who's Lara
Croft, Terminator. But yeah, I don't know if you played it at all, if you know the scene that I'm referencing. But yeah, it caused quite a bit of controversy at the time.
I'm pretty sure I played a bit of the first one, and I'm pretty sure that's in like the first hour, isn't it, or so?
I think so, yeah, because it's when she's still very much getting to grips with what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
But what was the other point they made here? Yeah, Mortal Kombat 11. I think that was like, didn't they tone down a lot of the outfits and stuff for the female characters?
Oh yeah.
Less revealing and stuff.
A bit cringe on that front.
Yeah,
the men are still oftentimes displayed their whole upper body, and it's like, all right, well, yeah,
can't show even a hint of cleavage now. That would just like send us over the fucking edge and just turn us into animals. It's like, this is a game where you rip people's spinal columns out. You can't. You're telling me a bit of tit is like unacceptable? Like, really?
I'll have that.
Okay. Charlie Flint says Sicario is excellent, written by Taylor Sheridan, technically a part of an unconnected trilogy written by him called the American Frontier Trilogy, including Hell or High Water and Wind River. All excellent. Neat little fact there.
I knew because I didn't know about that trilogy aspect, but yeah, I remember finding out because Taylor Sheridan's the one who's behind a lot of the shows that Gary's been recommending, right?
Oh God, yeah, he's doing everything. Like Yellowstone, Tulsa King, 1928. Christ, it goes on and on.
Generally, just
Landman, I think, as well.
See, that's evidence that I should be checking out some of these. There's so many of them now, though. It's like 1883, Tulsa King, Lioness, Yellowstone, Landman, 1923. It's like, holy fuck, where do I start? They're all TV shows, and most of them have over 10 episodes.
Yeah, like Yellowstone's on like season 4 now, so it's quite a lot to catch up on. But it's some good stuff.
He did apparently write. He's the sole credit for the writing on the sequel to Sicario, which I fucking hated. So,
well, everyone has an off day,
which is crazy because, like I said, the first one I hold is one of like the best movies ever, and then the second one I hate. So you don't know how that happens, but it happens.
I mean, he also wrote himself into Yellowstone as like the most badass rodeo cowboy that's ever lived. So,
I feel like what's your position on writing yourself into things? Do you think because the most I'd ever want to do is a very small cameo, I think.
Yeah, I mean, and to be fair, like that's kind of what he does. He's never on screen for more than a couple of minutes, and I think I could be wrong. Like he seems to actually have some real skills with like horsemanship and stuff. So maybe he just wanted to show off a little bit. I don't know.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. If you can pull off a thing better than any of the actors that are currently there, and it's just a small role, I could totally buy that.
Yeah, and if it doesn't detract too much from the overall plot and experience, then it's fine. I think the bigger problem is when writers try to put, try to do self-insert protagonists, which just comes across as like desperate projection, you know, and you see it a lot in like
Shyamalan, right, where he wrote himself in as the writer that would save the world in Lady in the Water.
Yeah, for sure. That
might be the funniest example.
We see where you're going with that one, buddy boy. But yeah, look at
movie critic that hates the character that he gets horribly murdered.
Yeah.
You're not subtle, bro.
Well, I mean, look at things like Velma. Like Mindy Kaling just wrote fucking Mindy Kaling into that show. And it's just like, God, do you actually not have this little thing called imagination? Like you can imagine stuff that's outside of you, you know? It's crazy, I know.
Well, then you have an example like Quentin Tarantino, who his cameo in Pulp Fiction is funny as fuck. And then his cameo in Django Unchained is like, ooh.
That's just horrible cringe. Like whoever convinced him he could do an Australian accent needs to be shot. I think
it wasn't even necessary. Like,
no.
He just made himself Australian. This sounded awful.
And it's like, it's not a short cameo. It goes on for a good while. I mean, it was quite satisfying when Django shoots them all, but Long and Distinguished says, real story. I did kickboxing as an adolescent and fought a girl once, kicked her straight in the face, Chuck Norris style, then punched her for a bit before the coach stepped in. She had 2+ years experience on me. Like, I love how you didn't stop or anything. Like, surely if you kicked her in the face, like, that's the fight over. It's like, no, ground and pound and all that. But yeah, I think we were talking, I guess, on the night about like girls who go to these kind of like, you know, self-defense classes or fighting, you know, clubs and stuff. Try to convince themselves that they could take on guys, and then they actually try and do it, and they get fucking destroyed, and it just brings about this like gigantic crisis of confidence in themselves. It's like, well, maybe it's better that you find out in a relatively safe environment than that, like, than try to take on a guy on the street where there's no one there to help you. Probably wouldn't end well. But there it is. Matthew Pickard says, what's the deal with women in the army? Why are they even there? Are they shooting passive-aggressive jabs at the enemy? What is the deal? I don't know. What is the deal, Mueller?
The deal with women in the army? I have no idea. What's the deal with women in the army?
It's a great... that sort of thing always reminds me of Cobra Kai, right? There's a line from Johnny, and I know you've not watched Cobra Kai, but I'll try and put it into a very quick context. He starts his own like karate dojo, and a girl wants to join, and he's like, no, we don't train girls here. And she's like, why? And he immediately fires back with, same reason we don't allow women in the army. It just doesn't make sense.
Well, did you this is a stupid question in a way, but have you seen Sonic 3?
I have not seen Sonic 3, I'm afraid.
I have not either, but I've seen this clip, and people who listen to this will probably know what I'm talking about. The two characters, so Dr. Robotnik and Dr. Eggman, the two characters that Jim Carrey plays, are both on the ground, I guess, paralyzed or something, or, you know, captured. And Kristen Ritter is in the film, and she's like doing a bunch of things with technology, and she's dressed kind of in like arguably a secret agent or army sort of outfit. And one of the Jim Carrey says, I can't believe this. And then the other one says, I know, women in the military. What? I thought it was really funny. It's Sonic 3.
Charlie Flint says, if you like Sicario, watch Prisoners. Same director, and it's even slightly better in my opinion. His best two films right there. Hugh and Jake are amazing in it. They are indeed good performances. Yeah, good performances all round. Shout out to Paul Dano as well. He does a great job with that.
Well, that is that fun fact, right? That it wasn't Hugh Jackman hitting, was it like a sink or something with the hammer that was improvised? And Paul Dano was like,
they'd been doing
terrified.
it for... Yeah, well, they've been doing it for hours, and apparently they couldn't quite nail the scene, like the intensity of it. And Hugh Jackman just said, "Can I try something?" It's like, okay. And I think all the frustration just came out there. And if you watch, like, I think he hits the sink quite close to where Paul Dano's hand is.
Yeah.
And so he's right to feel afraid.
Well, yeah, when you get into a scene and everything. Hugh Jackman, it feels like everyone does appreciate him for his effort, but that he almost doesn't get the appreciation of, he's actually like a fucking amazing actor. He really is.
I think his time as Wolverine kind of overshadows a
Yeah.
lot of the other great stuff that he's done. And yeah, as you say, it's a bit unfortunate because like he's more than just a guy screaming with big metal claws coming out of his hands. Like he's a
Yeah.
pretty fucking solid actor. Yeah. Just Nicholas says, "What do you guys think of Spaceballs 2 coming out in 2027?" I believe Mahler's given his thoughts on that already.
Well, are you enthusiastic about it?
I'm curious. I don't know if enthusiastic is the right word. I'll show some kind of optimism for it. Like Rick Moranis is coming out of retirement for this as well, isn't he?
Yeah. Does that mean anything?
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see. I'm not writing it off just yet.
You know, Drinker, Ian McKellen's coming back to play Magneto in Avengers Doomsday. Like, woohoo!
I think they'll need like a wheelchair for him as well. Like him and Patrick Stewart
yeah.
can both get wheeled in. It's going to get a bit sad at a certain point. Mitch says, Drinker, or anyone on the panel for that matter, do you use any tools like Grammarly, etc., to help with your writing? Any thoughts on recommendations for using them? I do not, which probably explains why my scripts are so incoherent. But yeah, I just never really felt the need for them myself.
As someone who's literally just started, no, and I think I'm doing it very inefficiently in terms of not knowing what programs I should probably be using.
I mean, the power of AI now is becoming quite terrifying. For example, right, Travis, who's directing, the Ryan Drake short films, he wanted to get a sort of an approximation of what the various characters should look like, and so he can feed the entire text of my books into ChatGPT, ask it to analyze it, and then ask it to produce images of the characters based on the descriptions throughout the books. And it is pretty fucking close to what I pictured, which is kind of terrifying. And that's just the most surface level of what you can do with it. You can ask it to analyze the structure of relationships between characters, how they change over time, and it's like, holy shit, this thing can like pick apart your entire work for you in a matter of seconds.
Well, and that's only going to be more and more proliferated as time goes on. It's just going to get better at everything. The thing is, right? Like, I think because Google has Gemini, right? That's the AI that they have, I think. And the thing is, when you Google anything, you'll get your standard regular results, but at the top you'll have the Gemini response, which I think most people who hate AI will at first be like, ugh, go away, ugh, unreliable, ugh, what is this? But eventually it'll stop being like, oh, okay, that is actually. And then, as time goes on, you'll be like, man, Gemini is actually pretty fucking reliable, annoyingly. It can scrub like the whole internet and give you the concise, exact information you want immediately.
It is handy for things like that would take you a long time to search. Even like Amazon does it. So imagine you've got like 10,000 reviews on a product, right? It'll give you an AI breakdown of like the high level view of what most people are saying. And again, how useful is that? Assuming it's like fairly accurate.
Because I think this applies more broadly. Good old Gay Ben of Steam fame, Valve, saying the easiest way to stop piracy is not by putting anti-piracy technology to work. It's by giving those people a service that's better than what they receive with pirates. So, in the same vein, what will make AI just dominate is that it provides a more convenient, easier, and better service than basically anything it's up against.
Yeah.
That's just how humans go. Because we've had a few people who ask every once in a while, "It's like, what can we do to stop it?" It's like, guys, they've made countless stories about this. There ain't no stopping it.
Yeah. Enjoy this time while it lasts before our AI overlords take over. Matthew Pickard says, Finn and Ray, more like Finn and Gay. Am I right, boys? Indeed. Hitchford Alcock says, there's a rumor going around for 2 days now that's saying that Papa Esidu has been fired from HBO Harry Potter project. Do you have any info on that? I do not have any inside info on that. I've heard people talking about it. As far as I know, it was literally just a question that was put to J.K. Rowling, like, are you going to fire him because he opposes you regarding the whole trans issue? And she said, no, I'm not going to fire him. And that's it. So as far as I know, he's not been fired and he's not going to be. TJ Jordan, Spaceballs 2. We don't need to have that when it comes to Star Wars. It's already been created. It's called Anything Under Kathleen Kennedy. True, yeah. I mean, it's kind of hard to parody something that's already a parody of itself, so yeah. John Gets Gaming says, The Nice Guys was the last great comedy. The Nice Guys was really fucking good. So
There's a lot of
underrated.
jokes I really like in that movie, yeah. Shane Black is best when you give him original buddy cop movies scripts. Just work on that, buddy. Don't get anywhere near IP, all right? We're good.
Yeah. He's kind of done now, isn't he, though? I don't think he's made anything since The Predator.
Yeah, he's sort of disappeared, which that is amusing that it would be that film that made him, I don't know, unappealing. Because, yeah, the last thing he fucking did was The Predator, at least for writing. What about producing? I'm assuming he's got somewhere. Oh, he's not got many credits for that. No, yeah, he's just done, huh?
Just ran away.
Damn.
I mean, he's probably made his fortune already. He doesn't need more.
Well, sure, but I would have thought he was just invested in making stuff. I don't know. All right.
But that was enough
Maybe
for him
he
to say,
thought
like,
The Predator was his magnum opus. He's like, I'm done now. Completed my task.
Sure, yeah. Yeah, let's go with that. Sprainer says, Hey, Drinker, if you're into horror puzzle games, I suggest looking into Little Nightmares games. I would love for a review of it. Little Nightmares. Okay.
I played a bit of it. Not sure it's the kind of game that you would particularly love, but they're fun. They're cute. They're different. They're like, do you ever play Limbo?
No.
That's the only thing I would think that you might know that is somewhat similar. It's 2D side-scrolling, and you're in a horrifying world where there's horrible giant things that want to eat and kill you, and you're a little person trying to escape it all and stuff.
Ooh. Hey, man, I still need to play Expedition 33.
Same.
I'll get there. Eatman says, Charisma on Command video, Reacher versus Bond. Sean wooed women. Reacher never initiates sex. It just comes to him. That is an acceptable compromise for men. I mean, great if sex just like throws itself at you, I guess. But like for most guys, that's not really going to happen, is it? Like,
Most
yeah,
guys gotta buy it, you know. So
buy it. Yeah, I do like Charisma on Command's videos. I think he makes a lot of really interesting points, and yeah, I'll need to watch that one. So next one is Myberg says, Greeting Drinker, Mauler, and the panel. Just heard they're rebooting Being John Malkovich with Pedro Pascal. Yeah, we did that one on the night. Right. Harriman says, the Looney Tunes movie, The Day the Earth Blew Up, is hilarious. It came out this year, but it was buried by Warner Brothers. Also, yay, gifted membership. Nice. And yeah, do you know anything about that? Because I saw it talked about a few weeks ago, but it just came and went and nothing more happened.
What specifically, sorry?
A Looney Tunes movie, The Day the Earth Blew Up.
So
apparently the studio had no faith in it and just kind of buried it.
Well, yeah, it was initially not even going to come out, right? I know that Fringy's seen it. He said it was very good. I need to watch it at some point, but yeah, I've heard that it sort of has essentially disappeared, and it's not. I don't think it's done well, unfortunately.
Right. Okay. Sad, but never mind. Rated M says, y'all heard about Tom Cruise joining Henry's Warhammer? No, that can't be right. Hold on.
That would be funny if true.
He's going to play the Emperor. Yeah. Yeah, there are currently no official announcements about Tom Cruise joining the Warhammer 40k universe. While there are rumors and speculation circulating online, particularly on social media, these appear to be based on clickbait and fan-made content, not official news. Oh, sad. Don't think we're going to see Tom Cruise in Warhammer.
Hey, random thing. Did you see Will Smith's new song?
No, I refuse to listen to it.
It's like absolute cancer.
It's like a 50-year-old man trying to do rap. No.
I thought it was AI. I thought it was like the part of the spaghetti meme or something, but no, it's real. That poor man, he's losing his mind.
Yeah. It's like the past few years have just been this big, long humiliation ritual for him. What did he do to deserve this?
I don't know. He used to be cool, man.
Yeah, he was awesome in the 90s and the 2000s. John Gets Gaming says, Pedro has gotten to Chris Pratt 2016 levels. I guess like the number of things he's in. Sure.
Yeah, maybe.
Good King says Tom Cruise has a total of 52 acting credits for his career, his entire career. Pedro is already at 76. Sure. I mean, I hate to defend Pedro Pascal, but I will say a lot of those were just obscure fucking like TV shows and little appearances in movies that meant nothing. So
he's not going to be able to defeat the GOATs, Christopher Lee and Eric Roberts. Eric Roberts, I think, has the record, right? Or one of them.
He's been a lot. I thought Christopher Walken was in.
I don't think any of the conventional. Eric Roberts is the most well-known of the people who've been in an insane amount of things because he's actually in like high-budget A-list sort of stuff sometimes, but he's also. I don't know if it's like a philosophy for him, but dude, acting credits 777.
Oh fuck yeah! Christopher Walken's only got 130.
Upcoming.
Christ!
Good God, he's in so much garbage.
Yeah, I mean,
he'll just end up in fucking anything.
I mean, when was the last time Eric Roberts was in anything meaningful, like The Dark Knight?
Well, I was gonna say, like, I remember him in The Dark Knight. I wonder if he gets cast. Do you remember David Carradine? Right, he was Bill in Kill Bill.
I do remember David Carradine.
Pretty sure Tarantino cast him specifically because he was like, it'd be cool to have a B movie star to be a main star in my movie, and that's I wonder if that's part of what people think of when they put Eric Roberts in like a big film. It's like, oh, he's the guy that's in fucking everything. I'm gonna get a good performance out of it. Which, by the way, I like him in The Dark Knight. I think he's got like a bit of charm, and he seems to be able to carry himself pretty well. Like, he's not like a bad actor or anything.
Yeah, I mean, fine. I'm just trying to remember where his career kind of went off the rails. Like,
he's in a movie called Snow White and the Seven Samurai.
Fuck, I want to see that film.
Dude, these fucking movies he's in, they're all like 3.8, 4.7, 2.1 on IMDb. It's fucking insane. Amityville Bigfoot. I don't recognize a single jingle smells.
Oh,
good
dear
Lord.
Yeah, I think
I'll scan it and I'll tell you the first fucking film I recognize because I still haven't yet.
Yeah, I think like back in the 80s, I think he was like very much an up and coming actor. He was like good looking and stuff, and very much tipped for leading man status. I'm pretty sure he got into a fucking car wreck or something. Totally changed his appearance, and then he started playing more like kind of bruiser type characters, and it changed the trajectory of his career. And I think then he had a lot of like substance abuse problems in like the late 80s, early 90s, and that pretty much just put him into a death spiral career-wise. He never really got out of it.
I didn't know that, but I remember thinking Christopher Lee had a lot of credits, and then I looked at Eric Roberts and I was like, "Holy fuck!"
Yeah. Do you think he'll get to do you think you get to 1,000 by the time he's done?
So the first thing I recognized is in 2021, I guess. He was in 2 episodes of Grey's Anatomy. There you go.
Oh, okay.
Up to that point, I didn't recognize anything else.
Yeah. 2 whole episodes. Look at him go.
Yeah,
That's not bad. Not bad. Yeah. Okay. Peter Gabriel Halverson says, remember the Charlie's Angels reboot? Yes, sadly. Has it to be the dorkiest shit I've ever seen. A big studio gives you $100 million to reboot it. How do you make it, and who are you casting? Fuck, I just grab up all the hot women that I could find. Definitely going to have Sydney Sweeney in it.
Yeah.
Just have fun with it. I think probably the movies from the 2000s with like Drew Barrymore and Cameron Diaz and stuff, as much as like, they weren't really for me, I think they got the right tone for it. Just make it goofy, campy, fun. Like play to the hotness of the girls and just have fun with it. Don't try and make them legit action fucking movies. No, just don't. Sam Wallace says, thoughts on the new James Bond game by the Hitman devs? Trailer seems to be a more Dalton vibe, none of the wet sock Craig energy. Yeah, I mean, I'm cautiously optimistic for it. Hopefully they'll do a good job with that one.
Yeah, see how it goes, sort of thing.
Enoch Mammon says, I just got Clint Eastwood's best film, The Outlaw Jose Wales, on 4K. I'm going to be watching that tonight. It is a really good movie and one of the best performances I think Eastwood does. Yeah, good stuff. As far as Westerns go, it's not my favorite of his, but it's really fucking good. Steel Manning says, Rumor has it that Pedro Pascal once said no to a script.
Wow.
We've never had it confirmed, though. Jeremy Soden, somebody on Real BBC, perhaps, Mauler, recently said Ridley Scott gets an allowance for doing Alien and Blade Runner back-to-back. Hard to disagree.
Well, yeah, I mean, we were just joking about it. I mean, the man, he created 2 of the greatest films of all time, so it's like, well, I mean, I'm not against him making new films. It's just kind of funny because they're always bad now.
Yeah. John Gets Gaming. Pedro and MBJ have weak-ass facial hair game. Okay. I mean, Pedro's he's rocking that mustache, so there's that. I think all the hair is concentrated on the mustache, and he's struggling elsewhere. Legion Cataphract says, Film Comics Explained, will you continue to cover the Crossed comics by Garth Ennis? Unfortunately, he's not here to answer that one, so we don't know. Zeitgeist Ruminator, where's Charmin Obaid-Chinoy's Star Wars movie? She was right, though. I'm still sitting here waiting. I'm actually becoming very uncomfortable. What would you put the odds at, Mauer, for that ever happening? So the Rey movie.
I thought they were pretty high when they had made their most recent announcement, to be honest. It seems so because I can just totally believe that they would make such a horrible decision. But now, how long has it been since the last major announcement related to it?
Well, it was first announced more than 2 years ago, and we've never had any confirmation that the script's finished or that they are going into production or anything. And you just have to think, any movie that's been trapped in development for 2 years, the odds start to decline pretty rapidly of it ever actually happening.
At this point, I'm of 2 minds. One, surely reasonably they would never do it, and it looks like it's not happening. And the other mind is, they're so retarded. Of course they would do it. What do you mean? It's like, so which one is it? I'm not sure.
If I had to give it a numeric value, I'd say there's about a 20% chance that it'll still happen.
Okay.
I wouldn't go as far as saying it's 50-50. It's not. The odds are against it now. I think as well, if Kathleen Kennedy does the unthinkable and eventually fucking leaves Lucasfilm, that movie's toast. They will never do it without her. But who knows? She might be there when we're old men. Might never leave. Jessica Bouchard says, Saturday, I'm seeing Legend 35mm in a retro theater. Cool. Another Ridley Scott one. How do you feel about Legend more?
Funnily enough, I think I rewatched it about 2 years ago, and it's a staggeringly unique thing that got created. It's kind of crazy. You watch it and you're just like, man, they would never make this anymore, especially with knowing it's Ridley Scott as well. The designs on everything, the world they create.
It's bonkers. It's a bonkers.
It is insane.
The 80s fantasy movies were a fucking cut above, man. They really were.
Well, that's why it's with super high effort and well executed sort of thing. What would it have looked like for Lord of the Rings to be made in the 80s? Yeah.
Yeah, true. Very true.
Any era, just to see the differences and stuff. But yeah, no, I mean it's a fucking insane fantasy movie that I feel like more people should probably see because kind of fall into time in terms of a memory. But the design for the fucking devil is iconic.
Oh, it's superb. Yeah, looks great. Jay Fraser says, "Hail gents, R.I.P. Brian Wilson. Do you have a favorite Beach Boys song or album? Fave songs are God Only Knows and Good Vibrations. Best album is Pet Sounds." I think if you'd asked me for a Beach Boys song, I probably would have said Good Vibrations. It's pretty much their most iconic one, isn't it?
Cool.
You're like, I have no fucking clue.
Not people I listen to that much, but fair.
The Right Tackle says, was watching a Darkest Corners of the Internet video the other day, and the dude unironically had Gamergate ranked over a dark web website for cannibals.
Cannibals get a bad rap, man.
They're just simple men trying to make their way in the world. Reno the Turk, the best version of Draco from Dragonheart was from South Park. Did they do an episode on Dragonheart?
I really can't remember. It could be like an Imagination Land thing or a reference, but I can't remember.
Cyberjar says, is it possible for a young Charlie Brooker, Armando Iannucci, or Chris Morris to make a name for themselves today? Last great British show was Shameless. I mean, yeah, I guess the question, could guys like that still come up in the kind of climate that you get in British TV nowadays? I feel like probably they'd struggle. Armando Iannucci probably, because, his stuff just centers around abrasive, like highly witty dialogue and stuff. Like that's not necessarily going to be impossible to get past today, as long as your politics are correct. Barry Ben says Disney and Star Wars is being beaten out by anime, so who has seen Requiem of Vengeance? Miss Igloo is better. I have not seen Requiem of Vengeance, sadly, so I don't know.
Neither have I.
G. Mort says Pete Postlethwaite was the monk in Dragonheart, I believe. Yes, he was.
Yeah, and just respect to the actor. He was just good in everything. He was always a fun addition. I remember him being he's like the hunter in Lost World, right?
Yeah. And he just nopes out of there. Like, he doesn't get killed by the dinosaurs or anything. He's just like, nah, job done. I'm fucking out.
He's one of the smartest characters in the whole movie, which is fun to watch.
Jander says, Hail Drinker and Panel. My kids wanted to watch Captain Un-America when it dropped on Disney+. In addition to a terrible storyline, I couldn't help but notice how slow Anthony was in the fight scenes. Needed the super serum. Really? I don't think I noticed that, actually. I don't know if it was an intentional thing or if it was just like the choreography he was a bit slow on.
How old is Anthony Mackie?
He's got to be well into his 40s now.
Yeah.
Let's see. Mackie age 46.
Well, you'd think he'd still have a bit of agility there, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I mean, he's not decrepit yet. Sebastian Stan, he's 42. Chris Evans, 44. Yeah. Vanessa Kirby, 37. She looks about 50, but that's...
Wow. Women hatred.
I'm just saying, like, normally actresses look about 10 years younger than they actually are, but for some reason she looks 10 years older. Maybe it's just the hair and makeup they had her in for Fantastic Four. Not sure.
Yeah, it could be. I don't know.
It's a bit unnerving. Sharpsticks says, Hail Drinker Panel just got done with Andor and then rewatched Rogue One. Andor makes Rogue One better. Make a lot more sense. Sure. I mean, good.
Yeah. It's funny. It's kind of coincidental because as we've been talking, Mel's been DMing me. He's finally catching up with Andor because he's been busy. He just hit episode 8, and there's just a fucking huge essay that he sent me. Yeah, because it makes you feel things, so I'm not surprised.
Yeah, that was such a nice experience. I liked being able to go an open bar and just gush about a Star Wars project for a change. It was a weird...
Yeah, it felt like an alternate universe. It was crazy.
Yeah, it's like, what's going on? Jailer Krend, bullcrap that we don't want to see black Star Wars characters. When you see Lando in Jabba's palace bring his mask down slightly to reassure Leia that everything is going to be okay, everyone felt that sense of relief. Yeah, I think we talked about that on the night, actually.
Razor said, Lando's fucking awesome. I refuse to accept this gaslighting bullshit.
Yeah. Glitterstorm Apocalypse. I did want a Spaceballs prequel 25 years ago with Mel Brooks directing. The Rise of Dark Helmet making fun of the prequels would have been great. That could have been fun, actually, yeah.
Yeah.
Jeremy Soden, that Johnson quote puts the Cavill mustache controversy into a new light for me, brings home the control that I have over my own facial hair. It's always good to control your facial hair.
Yes.
Yeah. Big T says, once again asking us about the Spaceballs 2 teaser. Just came out today. Looks kind of funny, indeed. Call sign Alucard says, Disparu, my brother-in-law, what's this? Brother-in-law in manage at Netflix and sis is unemployed. 1 year product Dessers. Only hear what and ROP were great and follows lore. The echo chamber is deeply embedded. So yeah, make of that what you will. More.
All right.
Good point there, sir. Well done. Taker 610. I hated Dominion so much, and I love the original Dominion. You've still never watched Dominion, have you?
Nope.
You ever gonna?
I'm gonna have to. For Rebirth, I'm gonna go through the whole set beforehand. So
You're in
which
for a
will
treat.
start great, and then it will slowly decline.
Not so slowly.
Not so slowly.
TJ Crink, R.I.P. Harris Yulin, Quentin Travers from Buffy.
Yeah, well, incredible character actor. Everyone will recognize him if you see his face. It was kind of coincidental too, because I'd seen Ozark recently, and he's a main character in that for a while. And I was like, oh, it's cool that he's still working. I thought maybe that he had died, and then he died. So I was like, oh, seems to happen a whole bunch with that generation. But yeah, he was. He had a very small role in Buffy, and he was excellent in it.
Well, yeah, there you go. Hugh Rolls says the 3 funniest movies of all time: Tropic Thunder, Dodgeball, and Shaun of the Dead, in that order. Changed my mind. I mean, those are some good choices there, but I think we'd probably pick others.
Well, so what was that top 3 of all time?
Yeah.
I mean, Team America, man, come on.
Yeah. I would swap out Dodgeball. I do like it, but Team America's funnier.
Yeah.
Snex says Ironheart AI, Jarviqua, or Black Friday. There's so many to choose from. I know. But I think you said it on the night, like that. How is this not a parody? When you see that AI and how she talks and stuff, it's like, okay, you've got to be trolling, right? Like, you understand how this is going to look.
Well, if it was made by a white person, white writers, white director, wouldn't everyone be saying it's racist?
Yeah.
I would have thought so anyway. I don't know.
It's just like you had such a great opportunity to play against the stereotypes, and you just ran right into them. Why? Don't know. Morwa says a Storm movie would be better liked than Ironheart. Indeed. Pulsar Echo says a little contribution. Thank you. Rebecca Gold says, have you guys seen that interview with Gunn and the rest of the cast of Superman? It's on the Fandango YouTube channel. I don't think so. Glitterstorm Apocalypse. I also missed the inclusion of controversial moral conundrums. Studios today don't have the balls to make Deep Space Nine's in the Pale Moonlight episode. Yeah, because that would mean, actually introducing a bit of nuance into things. Doge says, ever heard of Disney's Oye Primos? It was a woke kids show that tried to reach out to Hispanics, and it backfired tremendously. Got cancelled last week. Wow. Not being like a Hispanic child in America, I don't really watch stuff like that, but yeah, there it is. Got cancelled. M. Poe says Josh Greenbaum is the director for Spaceballs 2.
All right. Written by Josh Gad, right? Wasn't that the thing?
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see.
Waiting for the Asteroid says, Drinker, please finish Severance. You and Az are our only chance for Mauler to watch it. We've got to win you over. I will do my best. Batty251 says, have any of you seen Mobland yet? Yes, and we liked it.
Thoroughly recommend. Go check it out.
Yeah. Ben King says, thoughts on the new live-action How to Train Your Dragon? I think that's a whole other discussion that would take a whole other stream. But the short version, I don't think Mauler liked it too much.
One of the most faithful adaptations of a live action, from animation to live action, you'll see, but it still fucks over the original in lots of ways that are harder to spot compared to something like a Snow White. And I'm a little annoyed that a lot of people are promoting that you should go see it, because it's going to give you more Snow Whites, 100%. And this plus Lilo and Stitch is going to reset any progress that was made in stopping something like Tangled or Shrek or any remakes that are going to get way, way worse in future.
Yeah. Brandon Lee Janicki says, we talk so often about the modern egotistical stars of today, like Rachel Zegler, but are there any modern day stars or actors that you respect or think have some semblance of class?
Kurt Russell.
He's not really modern, though, is he?
He's still alive.
Okay, sure. He exists in the modern age. Yeah, I would have picked Henry Cavill. Like, I think he comes across as a genuinely nice guy, and like, yeah, he'll always seem classy to me for that time a reporter tried to bait him with like, oh, don't you think this fan base is toxic? And he just absolutely turned that shit around. It was amazing to watch.
Yeah.
So yeah, a lot of respect for guys like that. Starbucks Meg says, hail to the Drinker, Mauler, and panel. With no rings of power to entertain us until next summer, what half-decent fantasy-based genre show would you recommend watching, i.e. Wheel of Time?
Ugh.
Well, heard Wheel of Time is shit. So, I mean, House of the Dragon, I guess. It's not exactly a thrill a fucking minute, but I mean, it's a pretty solidly made show.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of what else is even being. It's funny because there's so many awful ones, but how many good ones are there?
Could I class Kingdom as fantasy?
I think
guess.
so. Yeah, I think
Yeah,
so.
I'd watch that then. That was good. South Korean sort of period piece with like zombie invasion. It's good shit. I like that show.
Man, it's like, because I've heard bad things and didn't really enjoy the Sandman adaptation. Wheel of Time is awful. Rings of Power is awful. The Witcher is awful. Fucking Willow is awful. It's like, anything else? It's like, well,
Fantasy's getting a rough ride at the moment, isn't it?
yeah, if there is a good one out there, it's just not something that I'm watching right now. So I can't really give good recommendations on it.
Warrior Poet says, Pedro's arc. I was bummed at the end of the Red Viper versus the Mountain. Now I fast forward and watch that ending on repeat. Jesus.
Rough.
Yeah. Henry says, good evening, everyone. Speaking of announcements, Bloober Team is now developing a Silent Hill 1 remake. Yeah, and I'm actually quite excited for that. Perhaps even more so than Silent Hill 2, because, the graphical improvements will be way more pronounced with Silent Hill 1. That was a PlayStation original. So hopefully do a good job.
Someone's going to mention, by the way, The Dark Crystal, I think. I haven't seen it, but I've heard very good things about the TV shows. 2019, that came out. Fantasy show, so yeah.
One Piece. One Piece is good.
Yeah.
That's fantasy.
I believe that counts as fantasy. Yeah, it's pirates doing crazy shit.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely not a historical drama, that's for sure.
What do you mean? Of course it is.
100% accurate. They had neon signs in pirate times. Ben King says, are you guys excited to see Black Snape? I mean, yeah, I think it'll make for interesting viewing. Grant says, what's a movie that you like despite the girl bossing? So is there movies that have got girl bosses in them that we still think are good regardless?
I guess it depends on how it's defined. Do you mean like in universe that they are that and that there's a story that relates to it, or something that you think is a bad element? But
yeah, I think it's the latter. Yeah, so maybe like a female character that they've gone a bit too extreme on, like she's a bit too amazing at everything. But the overall story is strong enough that you can live with that and still enjoy it. We're coming up a bit short here.
My memory is just like I'm like, what have we been watching lately? Some people might tell you that the How to Train Your Dragon remake qualifies on that front.
You wouldn't agree with that, though, would you?
I don't fucking think anyone should be watching it. It's funny. Even like, my sister's like, "Oh, I'm going to take my kids to see it." I was like, "Just watch the original. just let them be more comfortable at home and not potentially bother anybody, and watch a better version of the film with the ability to pause and have whatever food and drink you. I just." I unfortunately, when seeing it, was placed next to a rather rotund lady who was eating lots of things. And that part, I don't know if this is the same for all cinemas, but I'm assuming you get it as well in Scotland. But there's like the thing that it simulates people's phones going off and people eating and talking, and then it wipes them all out one by one. And it's like an ad. It says like, the new blah 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 phone can wipe out all of these noises, but we can't do it in real time in the cinema. So please, don't make noises. The part where it wiped out the eating noises, it does it in the ad, but the eating noises continued, and I got really confused for a second. I looked to my left and I was like, ugh.
It's this fucking land whale beside me that's eating half the cinema.
The thing that always amuses me was when people like basically finish all of the shit they bring in before the film even starts. They're just getting all of it.
I don't know, like maybe I'm wrong on this one, but I've never been one for snacking while watching movies in the cinema. I just never feel compelled to eat when I'm in there.
I mean, I guess I get both perspectives, but preferably, yeah, especially if it's a good film, man. I'm just locked in.
Yeah, and I'm just like, God, can you not go for like 2 hours without shoveling food into your face? Like, Jesus.
They should just have a pipe that you can pay for, and it comes down from the ceiling, just inserts sludge. You're just like,
Taker610 says Miami Connection ends with a brutal fight between factions, and then the message: only through the elimination of violence can we achieve world peace. Emperor Creatine. Speaking of Martin's show ideas, I've heard Mad Queen Danny was reportedly D&D's idea. What do you guys think? Remember, creatine is a pathway to many gains that some would consider to be unnatural. It also leads to excessive water retention, so I don't necessarily recommend it. But yeah, I don't think that was their idea. I think that was George's.
Yeah, I can totally believe he gave them the broad points and that they didn't build the pieces that led to those payoffs properly. I'm sure his version would be better if ever it existed, but we went over, we were talking about it, like it's very likely what's terrified him from even writing, seeing everyone react to it.
Hasohapa says, George ended A Dance with Dragons on Daenerys shitting herself, which is kind of appropriate when you think about it. Well, yeah, in retrospect. Wiznilly says, skip Expedition and play Stellar Blade. It was released for adults today. Ah, yeah, the PC mods are going to be fucking wild.
I've already seen plenty of people sharing shit about that.
But yeah, I've played it on the PlayStation already. Really good, fun game. I liked it.
Yeah, I had fun with it.
Johnny Septum, Hollywood, can we get a Tony Gilroy Resident Evil, please? Ooh, that would be weird. That'd be like super fucking serious.
Yeah.
I don't quite know if he's the guy for Resident Evil, but I would take
at this
him.
Point, everyone's had a shot, so why not?
Sure, yeah. Just throw anything at this. Carmine Pagnosi says, opinions on Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. I enjoyed every minute. I haven't played it.
Extremely lame, mediocre, crappy game as far as I was concerned. I couldn't. There's a montage of me playing it on the Moolah channel if you want to see a quick version of my thoughts. But if you enjoyed that game, you won't enjoy that video.
David Gannon. Michael Reeves wrote some of the best animated D&D episodes back in the 80s. There you go. And Jay Fraser says, Drinker, for your new vids on explaining film and TV terminology, why not do definitions on words such as slop or girl boss like you did in your woke vid? I mean, do I need to explain what a girl boss is at this point? I feel like I've covered it extensively. But I get your point. Like, there's definitely scope for doing more stuff like that. So the dump months video that I made, I have no idea if anyone would even care, but people seem to find it quite interesting. So I'm going to do more stuff like that. I need to give it a name, that little series. I'm not quite thought of what to call it yet, but yeah, something. But anyway, that was the last of the super chats right there. So I want to say thank you for making it such a momentous and emotional experience for both of us.
Yeah.
You really put us through the mill on that one, but we came out the other end, and here we are.
We're better for it.
Yeah. And now that we've polished off the last orders, I think it's time for us to close the door and make our way home. So that is all we've got for today. So go away now.
Bye.